Hello and welcome to my presentation. I'm really excited to share this presentation with you. I don't have an actual class here right now, but I am sending this to one or two other people to get some feedback, and I'll also be giving some feedback myself as well. So I will just present as if I have a room of people, and I hope you enjoy. So I'm just going to work out how to share my screen, and then we'll go for it. Here we go, share. Where am I? Da, 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 da. Here we go. Yay. Let's click on there. Hopefully this will work. Share. Awesome. Wonderful. Okay, so let's get started. From the start. Oh, but you can't see me. Interesting. Start video. Okay, lovely. There you go. I just feel it's a little bit more interesting if you can see me. Okay, so no, what's happening? Lovely. Okay. Don't you just love technology? It's wonderful. Okay, so I have a couple of notes. Hopefully I won't be leaving this because I'm so passionate about this topic, this subject, that I feel like I can just free pour and talk about this for, forever and ever. So welcome, my name's Natasha, also known as Coco. This is the last part of my course for Ulu Yoga, which I've thoroughly enjoyed, and I'm here to present to you today a presentation on the topic of veganism. So, veganism, let's get into it. Awesome. So, personal lifestyle choice. I don't tend to infringe my opinions on anyone in terms of this topic. It's a very personal choice for me, and I feel like for anybody that takes on this way of life, it's a very personal choice. So I don't tend to preach about it, so on and so forth. If you want to go forth, then go ahead. But I guess what I'm hoping for to come out of this presentation is that I can encourage the viewers, anyone that's is going to watch this, and I'm going to send this to other people as well, hopefully just to encourage a different lifestyle. It's, again, like I said, it's a choice. So if I've changed one person's mind, or if one or two people off the back of this have become vegan, then my job here is done. So I will speak about my personal experience, and we'll look at some facts and stuff as well as we go through. So yes, look at all that lovely fruit and veg. Don't you just love it? I do. All right, wonderful. So disclaimer. Behold, this is not a preachy change your life presentation, because I don't tend to do that. However, I believe that everyone is entitled to a personal choice. Build it and they will come. If you are new, there's a typo there. However, I'm going to rephrase that sentence. If you are new, I hope to, however, be able to share some knowledge with you. Then my job here is done, as I mentioned before. If you are already living a vegan lifestyle, hello friend, how do you do? Welcome. Awesome. Okay, so how does veganism lie within the body of yoga? Let me just move myself out of the way there for you. So firstly, I'd say food. What's happening here? Yes, lovely. We like that. We love the little heart. So how does veganism lie within the body of yoga? So I've got a couple of things that I'm just going to discuss. And one of the very first things for me was food. How we discuss about, it comes up often in the yoga practice where my teachers, gurus, mentors will reference how people enter the journey into yoga, and usually it's through the physical practice. Not usually, but occasionally it can be, and for me personally it was as well. My career as a dancer and a choreographer lended itself to my yoga practice. However, it was very much more for me like physical, like it's going to enhance, you know, my body and my physicality and what I'll be able to do. And then very, very quickly change my life, like within a day, literally. And then my whole life changed in terms of how, you know, how I live, how I eat, how I treat people, my ethics, spirituality, everything. So food was the stem of me coming into veganism. I've always been quite healthy based on my career, so I've always had to have kind of a healthy lifestyle, but I literally overnight stopped eating animals, and it was a decision that I made February, March, April, May, 3 years and 3 months ago now. I had been vegetarian before in my previous life. In my previous life, I've been vegetarian in previous years in my current life. But yeah, I did that for like a year and then I went back to eating meat. This decision was different because I love animals, and for me, it just didn't make sense for me anymore to consume animals if I completely and I'm just devoted, like love them, you know. And it took me to kind of educate myself and watch a lot of videos for me to make that decision. And like I said, it was literally overnight. So I gone straight vegan. I didn't eat for like about a month because I just didn't know what to eat. I was hungry for at least 1 month minimum. I think I lived on potatoes and chips and salad, which is not healthy at all. And then I became a little less strict. I was easy on myself. I was really hard on myself at first because I was like, well, I'm going to do this. Then I was a little bit easier on myself, educated myself, and became just more informed. So I'd kind of gone back sort of to a vegetarian diet. So I have a condition called Crohn's disease, which means I'm lactose intolerant, and there's a lot of things that I can't eat. So I haven't eaten dairy for about 20 years, and apart from cheese, because everybody loves a bit of cheese, right? Oh, and eggs, yeah, I used to eat those. But like anything like yogurt, milk, ice cream, just no. So for about over 20 years, I haven't eaten any of those things. Nor could I really consume red meat. It wouldn't digest properly in my system. So I was mainly on a sort of a chicken and fish, low sort of processed meat diet. Now, even though I couldn't have those things, becoming vegan was not easy. Like people think, oh, you know, you had a restricted diet already, it would be so easy, but it wasn't. But because it was a choice for me, it was really important that I followed this through. So like I said, I was hungry for about a month, and then I decided that, okay, let's do a bit of vegetarianism. And then very, very quickly, I became about 90% plant-based within a couple of months. And then, yeah, eventually I was 100%, literally. So it's 3 years and 3 months in now. And within the first year, I was like, yeah, completely sort of, yeah. I think my struggle was cheese. Yeah. I'd have an odd bit of cheese, but now there's lots of amazing cheese out there. So I'm completely like strictly animal free. So yeah, food was my entry into this lifestyle. Coming on to that, it basically is a lifestyle because I've adopted different things, like my circle. I guess I hang around with I have different circles of friends, but I have a demographic of friends whom are yogis as well. But finding vegans within the yogi community, it's kind of, you know, it's a different realm, isn't it? So or maybe you don't know, but it's a kind of a different experience. It's a different realm. So yeah, I've noticed that my lifestyle that I've adopted has changed slightly. So it's really beneficial in ways in terms of how you go forward and how you see the world. Like I shop in different shops. You know, my basket or my trolley is like just so different now, and I love going shopping because I'm always excited to discover new foods and things like that. And I guess my lifestyle now as well is Yeah, I think with the two things combined, this is why for me, I can't separate the two, because I've been practicing yoga for 4 years and then I've been a vegan for 3 and a bit. So it's like, it's kind of intertwined in itself. And I find it hard to define those, because for me, for my personal practice and myself, they lie within one another, which is what I'm trying to explain to you. Hopefully I'm doing that well. So yeah, lifestyle, it has definitely changed my lifestyle. Rituals. So I like, if I think about things like, say my skincare, and just even down to the products that I keep in the kitchen cupboard, or yeah, things like that, I find now I've become really ritualistic about. Like I've mentioned, shopping for me is quite I really enjoy it, and it has become like a ritual where I look at the ingredients of everything, which can be time consuming, which is not always great. But it's very time consuming. But I really want to know what's going in my body and onto my body. My partner says that I need to stop using so many different products, because he's like a purist and he's really natural and everything. And I am also, I'm working more towards that way. But I just love products and stuff. But within the products, I'm really careful about what's in them. So if it's, you know, vegan products these days are really like easy to access. If it's animal friendly, like I'm really fussy about, you know, how this product's been made. If it's been tested on animals, it's an absolute no, I won't buy it. So, you know, there are things that now, we have been a vegan no, it's not a long time, but for this most recent part of my life, yeah, I just look at things completely differently, in a different way, right? What else? Skincare, just referring to my notes. Skincare, cleaning products, candles, even candles. Like recently I discovered that I think it's soy candles are not incredibly good for the environment. So I'm more into buying coconut-based candles, which are a little bit more friendlier. And you know, they're all the new range, aren't they? All these like vegan candles and stuff. So yeah, just down to simple things like that. I feel like those kind of things have become really ritualistic, and I'm trying to plant little seeds as well. Like the house that I live in with my sister, I have, you know, buying different products to put in the kitchen, and just like my partner just planting you know, little things around underneath the sink, just specific cleaning products and things like that. So you know, the use of wipes as well. Like I stopped using face wipes, because I used to use face wipes to take on my makeup. Don't use that anymore. I found that really harmful to the environment. I educated myself on that, and they just end up in, like, sometimes just along the street or in dumpsters somewhere, because if they're not biodegradable, they just don't degrade. So I stopped using wipes. Household wipes, I'm just so not about, and I'm trying to, again, plant those little seeds around the people that I'm around. And yeah, so rituals and things like that lie within my skincare, and, you know, how I shop and things like that, and how I go about my daily life. Mindfulness. So for me, this lies deeply within the body of yoga, because it just changes how you see the world, I think. Like my relation, I've loved animals for a really long time. I love wild animals specifically. I'm not really a pet person per se. I do love dogs, but I'm more of a wild animal fiend. And I'm not really a fiend, but I love wild animals. Okay. So it has definitely changed my relationship towards animals, I think. Yoga and veganism combined, to be honest, like being in touch with nature and just being mindful of your surroundings and the people that you're around, and how you speak to people and how you want to be treated and how you treat others. Just being mindful of all of these things is yogic. Like that's what we are taught, and that's what we practice. I feel how that relates to veganism is that, like, not all yogis are going to love animals, right? But if to come back to the statement that I've set up this slide with is the relationship to animals, and how, you know, how I see them and how I view them and how I speak to them. Like, you know, I see animals and nature everywhere now, you know, and I think that also comes from my career as a dancer, being an artist, being an artistic, I was going to say, but being an artist pretty much my whole life, more so, definitely more than half, has just given me a different set of lens, and I just see the world differently in so many ways. So I think all of this tied within each other, just kind of, it's all lending itself to one another, I find, as I go deeper into this journey. And yeah, just, you know, coming back to like yoga philosophy and everything like that, it's really imperative that we are mindful of how we go out into the world and how we treat others and how we're seen as well, and that we see people, you know, and see situations and just various different things. So yeah, I think mindfulness is definitely something that is very close to veganism and yoga. Ethics. So ethically, gosh, there's just such a long list. I could talk about this for ages, but I'm going to keep it really short. But ethically, I will just refer to my list. How I speak of others, my lifestyle, how I consume and get rid of waste in terms of like recycling. So I'm just not so against, you know, plastic packaging. And again, I don't know if that is just a human thing. I feel like we are being more educated, and the word is spreading more about that, and people are becoming a little bit more, they're not sleeping on the topic as such. But I feel like since being vegan, I'm really mindful of, like, I'll even try and buy, you know, something can come in like a seaweed packaging, or made from, I don't know, oats or something, you know, I'd rather buy that, obviously, than something that's not all wrapped in plastic. So yeah, recycling, I'm so hot on it. Like, it's just a no-brainer for me. Composting, something that I've recently started doing. My partner, he is a landscaper, and he works in permaculture, and it's something that he's done for a very, very long time. So it's now like something that's kind of embedded in me as well, and I'm trying to plant those little seeds as well, you know, among family members. No waste. I find, like, I will always try and use my food, or the food I have in the fridge, before I put anything on the compost. So I will always try and use the food that I have. I do tend to buy a lot of food because I do love food, but I'll always try and use and really not waste food, because I think that's really important. Clothes, I don't buy leather, I don't wear fur. I feel like I've still got a way to go on that journey, I think. And I think, like educating myself about, you know, the actual, everything that's in everything that I wear. So like sheep's wool, that kind of thing. I don't tend to wear wool, but, you know, if I knew something consisted any sort of animal fibers, I completely wouldn't buy it. So yeah, staying on the topic of ethics, clothes, being in nature, like ethically, that is healing and holistic for me, and I think it's something that everybody needs to do. It's giving back to Mother Earth, and we need to treat Mother Earth kindly, which is ethical. Yeah. And constant education. I'm constantly educating myself every day. I guess I'm learning something all the time about veganism and how it relates to yoga as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully you've learned something there, and if not, let me know. Okay, so I'm not sure if there's more outside of this grid, but I've kind of narrowed this down to 5 things. So maybe just take a minute to have a look at this little diagram and see which one you identify with. So, you know, obviously, as I've explained, we'll start with the raw foodies actually, because that's kind of like the base, literally the base. So raw foodies, they don't eat anything that's cooked. There is equipment where you can cook or bake certain foods, but they're not cooked, so they still are in its purest form. And it's actually, I actually did this diet a few years ago. I did it, I think, for about a month or 2, and I lost, I'm tiny anyway, I'm about 9 stone, 57 kilos, and I lost so much weight. I didn't even notice. My family member noticed, and I was like, oh geez. It is a lot of preparation. It's like chop all the time, every day, because you're just literally eating veg, fruit and veg, and anything that you can sort of cook. So I did that for a couple of months, and then I couldn't do that. And then from that, I became vegetarian for the next year. Vegan, no animal-based products, cooked foods obviously come into play. But no milk, no dairy, no fish, no anything, just completely purely plant-based is what we call it. Vegetarianism is, and I'm sure we all know this, but you know, just to go through all these little, this little diagram. Vegetarianism, they eat eggs and cheese, so they'll eat dairy if you're a vegetarian, and stick to like a mainly non-meat diet, but there are still animal products within that diet, yeah, which leads us on to being a pescatarian. So the pescatarian, you know, you'll have everything, probably eggs, dairy and stuff, unless you've got allergies, obviously, and you'll solely eat fish. So you won't have any meat, you won't consume any lamb or any pork or anything like that. You'll solely consume fish and a vegetarian diet. So you might have like I don't know, some people do a 5-2, don't they? So they might have 5 days of, is it like, I don't know, eating fish, and then 2 days of strictly vegetarian. So yeah, you can mix these up and kind of have like days off. And I know a few people that have done that. And then from that as well, it's really great because sometimes that leads them into a different lifestyle, which means actually I probably don't need these things and I'm going to now do this. And the carnivore, yeah, so you just, everything goes. You eat lamb, pork, chicken, fish, eggs, cheese, everything, all the above, milk, yogurts. So that's consuming animals. And look, like I'm not against anything. And I think one of the, there are myths out there, I guess, that, I don't know if it's a myth, I don't know if that's the right word, but I feel like society has been led to believe that if you are, you know, a yoga teacher or a yoga student, that, you know, you don't eat meat. That's not the case. I know loads of people within the industry and teachers that consume meat, and whether it's on a daily basis or whether it's 1 or 2 times a week, it's still a thing. So I just want to like get that sort of out there, that I'm not here to like judge and like no whatsoever, none, like form an opinion of anything, because I know it's something that still exists within yoga. But I know that through my teachings and my practices, which I'll go on to talk about later on in the presentation, that the promotion of eating meat, I guess, isn't promoted. Awesome. So here we go. So which yogic term do you think might be the most relevant if referring to a vegan lifestyle? Now I'll read that again. Which yogic term might be the most relevant if referring to a vegan lifestyle? So I'll give you just a couple of seconds to think about that. If you are watching this and you have never practiced yoga in your life, and you might possibly not know what this means, and you might not have heard of this term at all, and that's completely fine. If you are on this course like me, or have maybe been around me or anything like that, you might possibly know what I'm talking about. So the yogic term that might be the most relevant if referring to a vegan lifestyle is ahimsa. And this is Sanskrit for the meaning of non-violence. I'm going to refer to my notes to give you an in-depth description of this. So ahimsa, pronounced ahimsa, is an ancient Indian principle of non-violence which applies to all living things. It is a key virtue in Hinduism, Jainism, and Buddhism. Ahimsa in the Indian regions of Jainism, Hinduism, and Buddhism is the ethical principle of not causing harm to other living things. The definition of ahimsa is a religious philosophy that all life, including animals, is sacred. An example of ahimsa is being a vegetarian because of the importance of animals' lives. So that's basically like a summary, a definition of what this term means within the yogic philosophy and the Indian philosophy, as I've stated there, within Hinduism and Buddhism also. So for me, I very much carry that forward when I'm thinking about, just various things in my life, like so my lifestyle, and when I was discussing rituals and my ethics and things like that, I always think about this, and how I treat others and how I want to be treated, and and how I speak of other people as well. I'm not perfect by any means whatsoever, but I am very mindful about how I put myself out there into the world, and I'm genuine with it, but you can be mindful and genuine also, right? So yeah, that's basically sort of how, I guess, again, going back to how veganism relates to everything, I feel like it's kind of just enhanced me as a person, I guess, within the body of a yoga. I just feel very blessed and very fortunate to have kind of be on the path that I currently am on. So yes, ahimsa. So non-violence to animals. And, as I mentioned, food was the stem of why I started this journey. The journey which very, very quickly became a lifestyle, as did yoga. And yeah, I think it's really important that if you think about the logic and the philosophy and the depth of all of that, the meaning behind this, certain things would change, and there might be a penny dropping here and there, and maybe by this point in the presentation some of you are maybe thinking, I might try this for a little bit. Talking about trying it for a little bit, Veganuary. Now, in the UK, which is where I'm from, I'm from the Caribbean, but I live in the UK. So and I'm pretty sure it's an international thing, but if it's not, if you are watching this and you are unaware of this, Veganuary is something which is celebrated the right word? I'm not quite sure. In the month of January, and it's basically a month where, I guess, society is encouraged to not eat meat for 1 month. Yeah, so it's kind of an event, I guess, and I'm pretty sure it's international, but I'm not 100%. So Veganuary, facts or fiction? Question mark. Is it a fad, or do you think people actually adopt this lifestyle change intermittently or permanently post Veganuary? It's a big question, I know. Is it a fad, or do you think people actually adopt this lifestyle change intermittently, which is like in small increments, or permanently post Veganuary? I remember going back in January, I was in the shopping supermarket in Sainsbury's, and I was looking for some vegan products. Now, what's great about Veganuary is that all supermarkets cater for it. It's amazing, and I've noticed as the years have gone by, it's more and more. So the vegan shelves, like, as opposed to like this, what it usually is, they'll go like this for the whole month. It's amazing. But I went there one day in January, and there was no food on the shelf, and I was like, oh, all these fake vegans out there buying the food that I need, and and I was like, ah. But then on the other hand, I was like, well, actually, because I think I'd gone back home with half the stuff that I'd wanted, and then I was actually thinking, actually, that's a really good thing, and I think it's kind of off the back of that which made me propose this question, because I was thinking, well, maybe they're not fake vegans, maybe there are real vegans out there, and this is something that they are going to adopt, for the rest of their life, which is amazing. I don't tend to spend too much time in those aisles, simply because I love to cook from scratch. I love fruit, I love vegetables, I love pulses and things like that. So I like to put things together. What you'll find in the vegan aisles is a lot of stuff kind of already made. I say processed foods, I think, but then I don't see it as a negative term. Some of them are replacements, and we always see processed foods as like something that's not great. However, you can find some really good stuff. Like, it's really important that we still get our protein, and you can find a lot of that stuff in the vegan aisles. Loads of tofu products. I tend to stay away from soy-based products. I do have them every now and again, but it's not something that I completely consume within my diet. So yeah, Veganuary, January, for the whole month. And I was just thinking, wonder if it's a fiction or if it's actually a fact that people carry this on. So I found a little bit of some facts, I guess. So yeah, maybe have a think about that. Do you think that people do this change, like intermittently? And say by intermittently, when I discussed before about doing the 5-2, you can do like 5 days on, 5 days off, 2 days on. So maybe 5 days you have fish or meat or whatever, 2 days you have just completely vegan. And I tend to find that kind of has a ripple effect, and I've experienced that with various friends around me who are now vegan. Yay. All permanently, like myself. One day I think I had fish actually the day before I became vegan, and then stopped eating meat completely. So yeah, let's go on to the next. What's happening here? Lovely, beautiful. So there is hope. I'm really, really positive, feeling positive about the change that is coming, and the people just want to be better. People want to live longer. People want a better lifestyle. People are getting healthier. People are going to the gym, and this is a worldwide thing, right? This is not just in the space where I am in the UK. So if we have a look at these figures here, this is in the UK, it's from the BBC. So in 2014, barely even 10,000 people were signed up to this campaign. By 2015, which is only just a year later, nearly up to 20,000 people came to the campaign, and they started this kind of Veganuary journey, I guess. In 2016, it's quite self-explanatory, but I guess it's about 30,000. Then if we look at 2017, just over 60,000 people have signed up to being vegan for a month. If you look at here, there's a massive jump from 2017 to 2018. Like, that's such an increase in figures. We've gone from just over 60,000 to nearly 180,000 people, signing up for this campaign. Now, obviously something has happened, something's shifted within that time, which has made people think, my goodness, like, I'm awake, and then a slight less of an increase there, which has gone up to nearly just above 240, between 240 and 260, 250,000 people, I'd say. So there is hope, for sure, and I say that not in a patronizing way at all, but I really do believe that, I say to people around me sometimes, I was going to say sometimes all the time, that's not possible, but I have often said to people, if everybody in the world just wanted to teach yoga, we'd live in a different world. And it's not that you have to want to teach the practice. It's once it's basically coming to the study of it and adopting that lifestyle just changes how you see the world, and changes how you act and react and receive and give, you know. So even if everybody wanted to be that, I feel like we'd live in a much different world. So when I say there is hope, I mean that in a completely parallel way. In terms of veganism, we need to preserve the world that we're living in. If we keep on the way we are, we will destroy the earth. You know, we are I think the last generation that can actually make a difference if we continue to not treat the earth kindly and, you know, just carry on the way that we are. There is going to be nowhere to be. You know, it's, and you think about your grandchildren and your children and stuff like that, we want better for them, right? So I definitely feel like there is hope for sure. Let's go. So there's hope for change in terms of, I guess, you know, I'm hoping what I'm doing now, and if you're watching this, that this has landed with you in some way, and you can maybe, I don't know, share this with somebody else in terms of the knowledge that I've given today, my personal experience. I really am hopeful that there is going to be some change, for sure. There's hope for the animals and the future of agriculture and farming. Like the animals, yes, they are so important. They are, you know, there is a whole new world out there that we are not a part of. Like, it's a privilege to be immersed in their world. You know, if you're in the ocean, people say this all the time, but it really is a whole new world in the ocean underneath there. You know, I was recently in Africa, and it's not something that I had experienced before, to see cows just walking in the streets and on the beach. You know, this is just a couple of weeks ago. And I was just like, wow, this is amazing. And I was on the beach one day, and I was walking on the beach, and there was about 10 cows just there, just chilling, you know. And I was just thinking, wow, like, I'm in your space. Yes, we're in an open, we're on a beach and so on and so forth, but I'm in your space. And what a privilege it was to just experience that. And I just sat and I just let that melt in for a little bit, and obviously took some footage because it was just a magical experience. And that just, you know, that just defined for me that nature wins all the time. Nature wins. Nature is the ruler of like everything, you know. And without nature, it would just be, can you imagine? Can you, like, I just don't even want to imagine. So yes, there is hope for the animals. And okay, we've got that again. Agriculture and the farming, wonderful. And there's hope for the impact of education and how veganism can change the world. I'll say that again. There is hope for the impact of education and how veganism can change the world. Like, I literally feel like it can, and it is, and it will. And I'm not saying that every single person in the world has to become, it's not what I'm saying at all. But it's just changing people's mindset, right? And in terms of relating that back to yoga, you know, not every single person in the world is a yoga teacher or a yoga student, or even knows about the philosophy, but it's part of it's the practice that comes with it. And that's the lifestyle on and off the mat, right? And that's the mindfulness part of it, like thinking about things differently, treating things differently. Wellness, you know, obviously, like, wellness has become this kind of buzzword now in the last couple of years, and everybody wants to be a part of it. You know, that's all part of our yoga journey. And for me, some people are practicing yoga without even having a clue. And there's just so much beauty and joy and hope in that. And I feel like veganism is one of those things that is, yeah, definitely en route to becoming parallel to that. So thank you for listening to me rabbit on for the last, oh goodness, maybe 20 minutes. It's meant to be a 10-minute presentation. But thank you so much. And I'm hoping that I have shared some knowledge with you today. Please feel free to contact me if you want any questions or if you want any advice or anything like that. And yeah, thank you. Namaste.